Hello! Welcome back to another rigging episode. Today we're going to be focusing on the eye basics, as well as a little look at how to do some basic eye physics to make your eyes more enjoyable to look at, we'll say. So let's get right into it. So for today's episode, we are going to be using Miss Vixen's new model. Okay. So I've actually gone ahead and rigged the right eye so we can sort of have a preview on what we're doing. So we're going to be doing the eyebrows, as well as eye open, eye smile, and then a whole set of physics, and I'll also show you how to do X and Y. The eyes are probably one of the easiest part of rigging a model. And yeah, there are lots of different ways to rigging eyes. This is how I do it. I'm not sure if there's easier ways out there. This is sort of just how I've watched people do it and how I rig it. So yeah, let's go in with the eyebrow angle. Now, when I've already done one, I tend to try and mirror it. When starting off, you sort of just have to go how you feel it would look and what looks correct. Let me just have a look. All right. So we're going to start off with the deform path tool, and I sort of like to put one close together so I can create this little kink down here. I'll just move that a bit more, and then we put one further along and then towards the end. And then move your the parameter where you want it to be, and just try to make that look the same. Of course, having this in the middle doesn't really help, so we're just going to turn that off for a sec. So that looks pretty similar. Then move the parameter where you want it the other side to be. And just the same sort of process, trying to make things look symmetrical. So that's the eyebrow. Now we move on to making the eyes open. When making the eyes open, you don't want to move the top eyelash completely down to the bottom. You want to try and sort of make them meet, not halfway, but just sort of that quarter of the way towards the bottom. Because when you blink, the bottom eyelid also comes to meet the top eyelid. So we want to try and replicate that. So I've got to go find this. Again, using the path deformer tool. With the top lashes, when moving them, you also want to angle them down, because when you blink, they don't stay up. They sort of, I don't know how to like sort of explain it. Like, they don't stay the same. They sort of get angled down. When I open it, you can see that the side eyelash is coming on over the eye. So we just want to adjust where it is. So I might angle it a bit like that to see if it fixes. It's looking better. That's probably close enough. And then just play around with it a couple times. Make sure everything looks okay. And then we move on to eye smile. Similar thing. If I open this eye, I sort of just lift the bottom up there. So we'll start off with the bottom eyelash. and I use the deform brush. I love this tool. This is probably my most used tool when making my models. I used to use the one where it highlights the area and then you move it. This one up here, the brush selection. But I just like the deform brush. It makes things a lot easier. So then, if I take that off, yep, we're sort of looking similar. Nice. And then we do the closed eyes. So when you are grinning and it's closed, I sort of like to angle it up so that it looks like the cheeks pushing the eyes up. So I think that looks good. So now on to the physics. To make the eye, so this is what we're going to be going for. If I come back here to the model and we move, yep, I got right eye. So this is what we're going to be going for. So we first start off with the entire eye itself. For this, I like to grab everything but the eyebrow, and we just pop it into a deformer. So we'll go eye physics, and you can choose how many divisions you like. I tend to choose 15. Make sure your deformer thingamajig's on. For the first one, we will highlight a majority of the eye, except for the very corner over here, and angle it and move it up slightly, and then do the opposite. So angle it and move it down. It'll look weird for now, but once you do the other parts and actually set up the physics, it'll look fine. So then with the second eye physics parameter, we just do the edge of the eye and just do the same thing. So we move it to 1 and like that. And then we go ahead and synthesize those corners, and it will look a bit like this. Once you do that, we go on to the iris. Now, I usually, with these, I just hold Alt and drag those corners out. And then do the opposite. Drag those corners in. And then on the second iris one, I do the pupil and do it in the opposite direction. So instead of going out, we'll go in here and then out this way. And we don't have to synthesize those corners. For the shine, which is this thing here, or it could be any shine on your models, I firstly grab the corners a bit like this for the first parameter, and I do the same thing that you did with the eye. So I move it up and then move down. For the second one, it's more about playing around with it and moving it itself. So with this parameter, I'm going to move it all the way across the eye here. And then for this one, I'm going to angle it slightly and move it down like this. And then synthesize those corners. And it'll look something like this. It looks very weird, but yeah, once you play around with those physics settings, it'll look a lot better. The last thing that you want to do is the eyelashes. Because we have already used 2 parameters, what I tend to do is make a deformer mesh. You can name them. I don't, just because I'm lazy and like to do things quickly. And probably don't use 15 by 15 divisions for the small ones because they're quite small. But yeah. So if this moves up 1, I'm just going to push this up a bit. Like that. And then push this down. And we go ahead and do that with every single eyelash on that same parameter. I'm going to make this smaller. So very fine details that can sometimes make something look really good. Now that you have done that, we go into the modeling. Now I'm just going to duplicate my right eye and I'll run you through what I've done. So with the input, you want to choose the eye, which eye it is. You want to do a group for each eye, not just put it all on the one. So we're going to do left eye open and put it to 100 effectiveness. Then we go into output settings. So I have three pendulums, and I've set the duration to 15 with 0.9 shaking, and I've left reaction time and overall to just the default. And then in here, you want to choose, let me delete all of these. You want to add all of the eye physics. Now, when you add it in like this, it's going to look really funny. That's my right eye. That's a bit extreme. We don't want it like that. So what we do is I tend to set everything to 1 and 2. You just play around with it until you find something that seems right for you. For me, I'm just going to go back and see how I've done it here. 1, 2, 1, double 2, double 3. So we'll go and do the same thing here. 1, 2, 1, double 2, and then double 3. And we'll see if that looks okay. Now, I think that's, yep. Sometimes it won't look the same as the other eye. If you do, say, because my iris physics are different to the other eye, just press reflect and then it will reflect those parameters and match it up with the other eye. And those eye shine physics are back to front as well. Just play around with it until it seems fit. And that is the basics for eye physics. And that is how I rig eyes. Hopefully it helps. Again, you can play around with how strong you want those physics to be. Or you can just not have physics at all, but that's how you rig eyes. Next episode, I will go over how you can rig a nice mouth movement with vowels. If you have any questions at all or want me to teach you how to do something, just leave them below in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video and learned something from it. And I will catch you guys all in the next tutorial. Goodbye!